Apple has announced the Apple Design Award winners.
I have the game. Apple says, you all should make more games like this.
And I'm going to show you a way to make sure that your lock screen wallpaper is chef's kiss perfect.
It's time for iOS Today. iOS Today comes to you from Twit's LastPass Studios. You're focused on security, but are your employees? LastPass can ensure they are by making access and authentication seamless. Whether they're working in the office or remotely, visit lastpass.com/twit to learn more.
Podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
This episode of iOS Today is brought to you by Roman. Skip the waiting room and awkward face-to-face. Get ED medication conveniently delivered to your door in discreet, unmarked packaging. Go to GetRoman.com/iOS Today for a free online visit and free 2-day shipping. Oh, hello. You know, it's funny. We recorded last week's iOS Today a week ago, early, and you took last week off. And so we haven't seen each other in 2 weeks. And it's like gossip time. We just spent the last half hour going, and did you know? And what else?
Yeah,
and then
exactly.
Quarantine has turned me into a gossip. I don't talk normally. People are laughing right now.
Quietly, you know, zipped lip.
Zipped lip.
No, there's stuff to discuss, people to see, things to talk about, etc. But at the WWDC event that took place that week, one of the things that happened was the announcement of Apple's Design Award winners. So Apple hands out these awards every year to apps that focus on design in a way that makes use of the tools that Apple has available. So it's not simply just visual design, but it's also making use of the APIs and the different, tools that Apple has introduced as part of iOS and tvOS and all the different OSs, so that you can create an app that is novel, unique, and in the case of games, fun to play.
It's a big deal. To win an Apple Design Award, you could put that logo on your game for the rest of the, eternity. People look at you twice, I think, are more likely to download you, get a tattoo. I am an Apple. It's like winning an Emmy Award. People.
EGOT.
Yeah. So when they did this after they announced Arcade, I thought, oh, this is going to be just loaded with Apple Arcade games. But in fact, there's only 2 this year, which is pretty good out of 9 awards. There is a weird trend, though, and I think developers should pay attention to this for next year's awards. It seems to be 3 out of the 9 winners, fully one third rhyme with the word doom. We've got Darkroom, Song of Bloom, and Loom, which has 3 O's, and that's why it won. Not just Loom. Loom. So I guess that's a quick.
Looms heavily on your mind.
Yeah. Let me start with Darkroom, because this is the one I use a lot.
Okay.
One of the things that really changed my perception of the iPad, and actually I think it's made me start thinking I could use this all the time. The number one thing I wanted to do, and it's really one of the most important things I do with my laptop too, is photo editing, right?
Yeah.
And what's happened with the iPad, yes, sure, you have Lightroom, but it's not a full Lightroom, and you have Photoshop, it's not a full Photoshop. But between things like Affinity Photo, Pixelmator Photo, and this Apple Award winner, Darkroom, I think, honestly, this has become my preferred photo editing choice, partly because it's got the best screen, right? It's got a really good screen, and touch is really important too. I think touch helps a lot because it means you can take a photo and you can do things with the touch, draw and so forth that are really, really valuable.
there's no disconnect, right? I mean, you're editing the photo directly on the photo as opposed to from via mouse or some other pointer.
Darkroom has every feature that you would, it's a little dark. Speaking of Darkroom, I guess I can turn it up a little bit. Let's see how it looks if I do that. It's still a little bit dark, isn't it? Maybe it's, part of it is because photographers don't want the controls to make, attract the eye. So they make these as dark as possible, which is, you have a gray background and so forth. It's another reason why this is a really thoughtful program. I've just hit the edit controls, and you can see there's everything you would have in Lightroom: brightness, contrast, highlights, of course, shadows, whites. We have the histogram, and that's what we're modifying right here is this histogram. So if you see, if I bring up the shadows, for instance, it'll change this histogram, and as well as changing the photo. So what you're doing is what you could do in another app. Sometimes they do this in other apps with the histogram, but you could see the histogram. I like Vibrance is another really nice one that I use a lot.
I didn't even notice that neon color along the wheel.
Yeah, and so I'm trying to bring that up. Same thing with saturation. Yeah, so this is a really interesting sculpture in Petaluma. This is from the Burning Man exhibit. So we have a lot of burners in Petaluma. A lot of the artists live in Petaluma, and so this is at the Petaluma Art Center, and it was a Burning Man sculpture. And so, as always with Burning Man, lighting is really important. There's LEDs, along all of the edges, but I should have taken it at night. In fact, I have another image from the night that's much better. It also has curves, but see, this is a good one to work with because it is in the daytime. Maybe we can make that sculpture pop a little bit. It's got hue, saturation, and luminance, HSL, which photographers, professionals will recognize as another thing you often work in. And you can change the color channels, which is really, I have to say, in a lot of ways, this is better than Lightroom. It has a lot of the features of Lightroom. Sometimes I like to put a frame around my photos. This gives you an easy way to do that, as well as, of course,
I like the framing.
Yeah, I like it. I think there's sometimes you want to do that, especially a photo like this.
If you're going to put it on Instagram, for example, you can make it square.
Of course, it's got all the cropping features and so forth. Straighten, so I can do this very easily. Horizontal perspective, that's a common feature if you're taking architectural photos and you want to be able to make the building not feel like it's falling on top of you. They've got vertical perspective for that. We can have various grids. I can change my aspect ratio. So if you say, I want to put this on Instagram, I could just push a button and it's square now. Probably should have shot it differently if I wanted to put this on Instagram. There's a lot of this is really pretty much everything you'd want in a photo editor. This is Darkroom and one of the Apple Award winners. And I think deservedly, this doesn't have maybe it has to do with the API and so forth, but this is, what's really clear is this is a touch-first photo editor, which means it's made for the iPad. And I think a very good choice. And not really expensive. It's free, and then there are in-app purchases.
For the Pro version, I believe.
Yeah. I'm sure I have the Pro version. Well, the other nice thing, unlike Lightroom, it starts with Apple Photos. So it has all the images from Apple Photos already. You don't have to import anything, which to me is huge. Of course, you've got all the info, and since I took this with an iPhone, I've got the geographic location, all the settings and so forth. That's what you'd expect in the metadata. I feel like this is just really great. And then, of course, once you're done, you've got complete export control, including the ability to send it to Instagram directly or other apps and services. You can copy hashtags.
Now what's that mean? Copy hashtags? I haven't seen that.
Well,
cool. So it looks at, I remember this now. It is a machine learning feature, computer
Travel,
vision.
Portrait,
it looks
landscape.
at what the photo is and can figure that out and automatically copy those hashtags.
And you can have hashtag sets, so you can manage hashtag sets. You can even have a Siri shortcut that will, I don't know. If you're really into hashtags, I guess having a hashtag
for
shortcut.
For Instagram especially.
Yeah, is very handy. So, these are the existing ones, and I could change those. So that's pretty nice, I have to say. This is designed for the heavy-duty Instagram influencer, but also the professional photographer, I think, will find a lot of benefit from this. So, the only thing it's not one of those, just apply a filter and leave apps. You're gonna want to spend some time in it. I think it's really fantastic. I couldn't be happier with this. So my strong recommendation for Darkroom. I probably spent too much time since we have 9 of these, but I just think this is really dynamic.
Yeah, I was just going to note quickly, this was me when I was a baby and had chickenpox, but I wanted to talk quickly about the filters, just because there are quite a few filters that are included, and what's nice is that you can create your own filters. So if you have an aesthetic, again, this is very Instagram focused, where you like a faded out photo and maybe it's got some saturation pulled out of it, but the vibrance is turned up or something like that, you can create a filter that keeps those features specifically. And so there are some great basic filters that are included, but then you can go on from there. So that's one of my favorite things about Darkroom, along with, like I said, I will often, if I'm going to post a photo to Instagram and it's in some other format besides Square, I'll hit that 1-to-1 thing, and then I can change the inset width to either add a frame to it or take a frame away from it. Yeah. And what's cool is it will actually look into the photo and pull some color from the photo so that you can have a frame that matches along with what's inside the photo. So those are the two options there. Aside from your regular white frame or gray frame, it will actually look into the photo itself and pull a color out to help you create a frame that kind of matches a little bit more.
And I don't use their filters too much, partly because their naming is terrible. A100, A200.
What do you use? A6439.
But I think they do it well. For instance, I've applied a filter. I think that's really enhanced this photo. But if I touch and hold the photo, I can see it without the filter, with and without, so you can see what changes it's making. And I agree with you. The ability to edit and create your own filters and then name it something clever is probably what I should do. I'm not a filter fan, but sometimes I want a quick black and white image, and the ability to turn it into. They have a number of good monochrome, really nice monochrome filters. That's actually a very handy feature. So yeah, I can't recommend this more highly. Darkroom has made it, along with Pixelmator, Photo, and yes, I admit Lightroom and Photoshop and Affinity Photo have really made this I think the premier photo editing tool. It's just great. The only thing iPad is lacking really now is a good way of managing the assets. You're still really pretty much stuck with photos, which is fine. Mm-hmm. I mean, it works. It's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine. I can accept that. What do you got?
All right. Let's talk about Loom. Loom.
What is Loom?
Loom is an animation application that I have to admit is a little confusing. It costs $9.99, so it's a $10 app, and it was honored. I want to say, a little bit about what Apple has to say about it. An animation playground that takes inspiration from music creation tools. You can loop hand-drawn stop-motion animation for whether it's for pros or creatives alike, and it has, what they call an intuitive interface that works well with both the Apple Pencil and dark mode. So the reason that it got the focus that it got was because of the fact that it works with Apple Pencil and dark mode, and also because it was made for iPadOS. If you remember at WWDC, there was a huge focus on iPadOS design, and this is one of those apps that does it. So I'm going to show you the tutorial because that's going to give us the best introduction into what we're supposed to do. I'll hit play at the top. And so the first thing you can see is that you create new frames by drawing and then swiping down. So we will take something and draw it. Let's say the beginning of a circle, and then we'll swipe, and then we will add to that, and then we'll swipe.
Oh, I get it.
Add to that.
Oh, that's kind of neat.
Add to that.
If you're an animator, this is great, right? Oh, you added it to their existing.
Yes, I did. So let's see. I don't remember how to clear. See, again, they say it's an intuitive interface, and I have to disagree. Yeah. I don't feel that the interface is super intuitive. It requires a lot of dexterity as well, because you've got to put multiple fingers in different places. So here you can see it's 24 frames per second for the different animations, and each of these little wheels on the left side correspond to different parts of the animation. So you've got the third hand here, and the second hand here. The right hand is the middle one, and then the animation that I drew is up there at the top. So let me see if I can't get rid of this one as soon as I remember how that's done. Yeah, see, I'm sure there's some way, again, to make this a little bit easier, but it's so confusing, in my opinion, there we go. All right, so we're going to start over with the thing that I drew, and we'll start with frame 1, and I'm going to erase that. No, maybe not. Okay, so let me go back to the home screen, and we'll create a new one, and then I can show you. Starting from square one, I will draw my first one, swipe down, draw my second one, swipe down, draw my third one, swipe down, and draw my fourth one, swipe down. And then we can do it again. And then I'll go ahead and hit play. And so there you can see the animation that I've made. Not a very good animation, but you get the idea. It's meant to be intuitive, but again, I feel that it is very complicated to figure out the interface without some sort of better tutorial in my mind. The tutorial that it comes with does not give a good explanation for how it works. And so I have to say, these are some of the illustrations that are available. We talked a little bit about this one before the show. So, some nice clouds that are going for $9.99. I think it's a little expensive.
Well, you're probably too young. I don't know if you did this in school. Did you ever do flip books in school? This was a very popular thing in 7th and 8th grade, where you'd take somebody's book, somebody's school book that they were going to have to turn in at the end of the year, and you would draw animation page by page by page by page, and then when you flipped it, it would come alive.
Make a little...
Yeah, this was a fun little thing a lot of people did. I wasn't great at it. Some people were really good at it. Maybe instead of ruining your colleagues' school books, you could do this instead.
Loom
it's the same
instead,
idea.
yeah.
If you think of it as a flip book, it's the same idea. And a professional animator, of course, this is a hard thing to do. Cell animation is a hard thing to do, but this looks like it would make it easy. There are a number of programs in this list that we're not going to be able to do justice to because we're not animators. I'm not, for instance, a 3D CAD user, but Shapr 3D is, according to many, the premier 3D design tool. And I think the really interesting thing about this, and one of the reasons it won an Apple Design Award, is because you can use a pencil, the Apple Pencil, to do 3D design. When you first start up, it lets you choose, what you're most interested in: engineering, woodworking, architecture, industrial design, or other. I'm going to do engineering. That looks kind of cool. And then it asks you some questions, further customization. Are you using it at work, at school, as a hobby? I'm going to say as a hobby. All right. And then, oh my God.
Yeah, the first time I opened this
There's
app,
a lot to do here, right?
Asking a lot.
Yeah.
It reminds me of Adobe, though, because Adobe will ask these similar
and then
questions.
it wants to know what you primarily use, what desktop tool you use. I'm going to say SketchUp because it's the only one I ever heard of. And how did you first hear about us? They should really have podcasts.
Just let me play.
Yeah. Okay, fine. Okay. Now let's learn the basics. Okay. So look at this. This is why I did not skip this part, because I didn't want to have to do this. This is all of the features. Isn't this nice? He's demonstrating it for me. Those are my hands, just in case you were wondering. And they're making a gear kind of thingamajigger, and it's nice.
And that's how we know that you're not an industrial engineer.
I don't know what the hell this is. It looks like it's some sort of transformational gearing system, like a transmission or a doodad or something. It's a doodad. This goes up and then it disconnects the two. So it's it's like a turn off the gears, then turn on the gear switch, which
Precisely.
has bolt holes so we can mount it on the wall, which I think is very convenient. You see, I know nothing, absolutely nothing about this. So, but you get the idea. If you're into 3D, I think it's probably, I wish Alex Lindsay were here. He could explain to me why this is the best thing since sliced bread.
Sliced bread,
yeah.
Sliced 3D bread,
Yeah. It's cool. I mean, it's really cool. I just, this is one of those skills. To model, you need an Apple Pencil.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, watch. I'm modeling with an Apple Pencil.
Are you? Well, let me see how you look modeling. Is that blue steel? I think it is.
It is. Yes. Good. You got it. Ding, 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 ding.
So it's going to pair with my pencil. And now I can draw a line. Oops. Am I left-handed? Yeah. You've been holding. That's pretty cool. You've been holding your Apple Pencil with your left hand. Do you want to swap the UI to the other side? Yes. Thank you.
That's really cool.
Very thoughtful, right?
Yeah. We don't get enough attention.
Draw a line. Look at that.
Lefty.
An arc. Okay. And a circle. Okay. There we go. Look at that. Am I good or what?
You are good.
I'm going to create a body from any closed sketch. So
like a human body?
I don't know what I'm doing here. Whoa! Did you see that? He extruded
that was
it.
Cool.
Okay, I want to try that. I'm going to try that.
Extrude, dude.
This is actually a fairly good tutorial, even for somebody like me. Watch.
Maybe not.
Okay. Select the sketch. Pull the arrow to create a body. Okay. Ooh.
Oh.
Or
that's cool.
Ooh. 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 Up and down. Up. Okay, so I can do that. I'm extruding it. To set a precise height, tap the dimension.
Your sketch is different from mine. That's kind of cool. Look at
you're getting a different one? Well, I'm doing engineering. What are you doing?
That's why. I'm doing product design.
Oh, yeah.
So I got the
Mine's
lid of a
much more
bottle.
interesting. Mine's much better.
Wait, now it won't let me make it bigger.
Okay, select a face with my Apple Pencil. Oh, not that face. Let's select this face. Okay. Now, tap the dimension to change it. So I can, that's important. When you're doing stuff like this by hand, you're not precise. So it's nice to be able to say, I want to do this precisely, right? So that's pretty cool. Tap the dimension to change it. Okay. Check. I've changed it. Thank you very much. Nice tutorial. Okay. I think we've done it. We've done enough here.
Yes.
Yes.
Now I'm trying to make a water bottle head.
Yeah, see, they got you. They got you.
They got
Pretty soon you'll be an industrial
it
designer. They know. They picked it up. One thing we're not going to buy, not going to show you, and that's StaffPad.
StaffPad. Yeah.
And why aren't we going to show them, Micah? What's wrong with us?
There's nothing wrong with us, and there may be. I don't know. I'm not a professional. So maybe there is something wrong with me. But StaffPad is a $90 app
with in-app purchases.
With in-app purchases. For the people that it's for, I'm sure it's incredible. But I do not do music notation and composition, so it is not an app for me. But it's essentially for composers who want to be able to compose music so they can kind of write it with the Apple Pencil on their iPad, and then the app will understand what characters are trying to make and create music for them. So
and even, by the way, play it back with 55 included instruments. So if you were Beethoven, now how much would you pay, right?
Exactly. I mean, clearly I would pay, the $90 that it costs because you're able to hear it back right there. It also has an assistant built in, so you can get help with, adding instruments or changing tempo, that kind of thing, making key changes. You can print this stuff out. You can create PDFs. Chords can be added automatically. I mean, there's everything that you could possibly, it seems like it's got everything you could possibly want in terms of creating it.
Yeah.
It's just not for us. But yeah, I think it's a super, super, super cool app. And for anybody who does music notation composition, well worth checking out to see if it's something that could be helpful to you. So it's no surprise to me, I guess I would say, that it's $90 because this is an app that features what I would think a composer would want in an iPad or digital version of the music notation that they do on
these
writing.
These are pro apps. So and I should have mentioned that Shapr 3D is free to try, but the in-app purchase is $32 a month. So again, expensive. But if you're making industrial designs with it, it's going to be worth it. And I'm just blown away by the fact that you could just, write a score. It would recognize it, turn it into an actual chart, and then even perform it for you. That's pretty impressive. I think for composers, I could see this would be a very exciting program. StaffPad, $90 plus in-app purchases, which we didn't even investigate since we have no musical ability. You might have musical ability. I shouldn't speak for you.
Not for drawing. So it appears that the in-app purchases are for other instruments you can add. So, for example, Berlin Strings is a $100 in-app purchase so that you can buy the entire library of Berlin Strings instruments, the Berlin Brass, Berlin Woodwinds, etc. So you get the basic version by purchasing the app, and then to add more of the instruments to it, you can pay for the in-app purchases. So yeah, though you don't have a subscription or anything like that. Once you've bought it, it's yours. But again, it is a full-featured app that is, I think, I would like to believe would be very helpful for a composer who is working on that. Alrighty, let's see what's next. Yes, we've talked a lot about this app. I've talked a lot about not just the app, but also the album of music that I listen to from time to time. It's Sayonara Wild Hearts. Beautiful game for Apple Arcade that involves it's beat matched gaming, and it's, I don't know, I think it's incredible.
What's neat is
the audio from my side, so
I'll play it. Yeah. What's neat is, and I didn't know this, I just played it and I thought, oh, this is fun, this is cool. But what's really neat is it's a kind of an album, right? I mean, it's more than just music. It's an actual, album.
You can go get the album in Apple Music. I have it downloaded, and like I said, it's a good thing to have. Whenever I'm working on stuff, I'll sometimes have it playing in the background. Yours is loading.
It's loading, which is not Heather in the field. Oh, here we go.
Not long ago, in a town much like yours, there was a young woman who was very...
Can't skip that. Oh, good. There's I have to say, the negative for me was this extremely long setup
intro
that I don't care about. It doesn't make any sense. The story, in fact, when we picked this when it first came out, that was my complaint as well. Is I don't care why I'm doing this.
I don't care about the story. Yeah,
I know. And
some people
games
do.
Yeah,
I
they must
that,
because. So this is Claire de Lune, which you might recognize as a famous.
A harmonious universe.
Debussy composition. See, you got to watch this. Who cares that 3 divine arcana watched over the universe, and then a cursed arcanum intersected the astral highways? Can't skip it. Can't. I'm tapping it.
Really?
Can we?
What about holding down?
Fortunately, Kevin has the ability to speed this up.
Yes, we unfortunately in real life cannot. That reminds me, folks who have Amazon Echoes in their home, say the trigger word and then say skip to Friday. Yes, for you, don't skip to Thursday, please. Okay. And then it becomes Zelda.
Okay. Now, fortunately, you only have to watch this the first time, and it's because I haven't played this in a while. It's now making me go through. Finally, is this the game?
Yes, you've begun.
So you see, it's a endless runner basically. But the thing that makes this unique is the music. So this is kind of a fusion version of Debussy's Claire de Lune with synthesizers. Now this is the first stage, so it's very easy. It's going to get hard, and the songs change too, right?
Mm-hmm. The songs get way more intense.
Yeah, you really like the. I don't want you to see my fingers because I don't know what the hell I'm doing. This is way too easy. This sets you up for failure because you go, I love this.
All I have to do.
This is simple. This game's easy, man. What makes this so hard? I just gonna. Now you can't listen to the music, right?
Say again.
Can you just listen to the music?
I don't think you can do it within the app. I'm not positive.
So that's why you bought the album.
Well, it's free if you have Amazon.
Look,
if you have Apple Music.
I've turned into the Joker.
You have.
Now what? Okay. That was just to make you think this thing is easy. So, beautiful game. It's called Sayonara Wild Hearts. It's Apple Arcade, so if you've got an Apple Arcade subscription, it's free. I actually rejoined that. Remember, I quit Apple Arcade. I rejoined Apple Arcade because, well, my app cap is from Arcade, and you know, there are some interesting games. I just found I wasn't using it very much. So.
Yeah, I don't play games enough, really.
Yeah.
But I cover them enough on this show that
I actually don't think this is one of the best Apple Arcade games, to be honest. I think it's beautiful and sounds great, but I don't think it's a great game, to be honest.
I think that's fair. Yeah. I think so. For me, as a person who doesn't really care about the gaming, I'm 100,000%
you like
there
the
with
music,
you.
yeah.
Yeah. So whenever I saw that it was something I could just get on Apple Music, I said, okay, cool. I can just leave the game behind.
I feel the same about this other game that they picked, which is
Sky
called
Children of the Light.
Sky Children of the Light. Yeah. Now this is not an Apple Arcade game. This is a purchase, but it's free with in-app purchases. This game you're going to recognize because it's very similar. I love this when they say, where the headphones sound is more than half of the experience. Oh, look, I can draw. This game is based on a game that was very popular indie game called Journey, or The Journey, and it's very similar to that. Same company. So, I'm getting a lot of prologue. I hate exposition in movies. I hate exposition in theater. I hate it in books.
If a movie starts out with somebody saying some ridiculous long intro,
Jeremy
I'm like, okay, so
never did like mornings. He would wake up and see the light and say, what fresh hell is this? But on this particular Thursday... Sorry, I'm giving you an exposition.
That immediately tells me that you can't figure out how to tell a story.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lazy man's way of writing, and so this is a lazy. Well, with games, I guess people like scenarios. I never. If I can avoid these cutscenes, I just.
Maybe we're just impatient.
Kevin, speed it up, Kevin.
How is it already all main game?
Because they think I'm somebody who likes this stuff, I guess.
Must be. Yeah. I don't have any idea how to play this.
This is called Sky Children. We also picked this. It was my app cap some time ago because I love Journey. The Journey, and this is very similar. You're switching through different lands. It's not. There's no battle. Okay. So I can make her run, and I'm going to run over here to the new land. You have some portals. We're going to go. If you've played the Journey, you'll recognize the mechanics of this. You slide through. Kevin, can you speed this up too?
Dun 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 dun. Beautiful, mystical, magical.
Ariel found herself in a world devoid of features, a world of sand and wind, and strange instructions to drag from the corner of the screen. She did so and was running up the steps like a little fawn, leaping and playing. Shh,
leaving dust clouds wherever she went.
This is the Journey mechanics where you're sliding through sand dunes.
For truly we leave a mark on the world when we move.
Okay, so these cave paintings, they do something. Okay. That's when a game's bad, when you
have to make sounds, Dad.
Oh, okay, that flick mechanic, probably not the best idea. I flicked myself right out of the game.
Hate it when that happens.
I hate it when that happens. Welcome to the Isle of Dawn. Follow the bell and find your way to the temple. She can sort of fly, but then eventually she gets a cape that lets her fly a little bit better, but not infinitely.
As a wise man once said, that's not flying, it's falling with style.
Come on, give me the thing. She's going to give me the thing. This is Winged Light. You know what it lets me do? Fall with more style.
Anna Wintour level style.
Yes. What's this up here? Tap the top center button to level up your wing. Well, thank you. Seemed kind of unnecessary to do that, but okay. Seems like I should just level up automatically, don't you think?
Yeah, why do I have to tap? What if you accidentally skipped it?
Guess that wing isn't going to get me up that. Oh, I probably have to launch myself. You get the idea. A lot of wandering around through sand. I'm not really that fond of it. To be honest with you. Another one of them games I just, I thought, oh, that's pretty. But really? Flick. This is pretty much the story of my life right here. I'm flapping as fast as I can, but nothing's happening.
Why won't it let me up the hill?
Whoa, leap, young lady. Wait a minute. Did I level up? I got fire. I got leave your current save point. No.
Who's the god that does fire? Or not god, but who's the person that brought fire?
Prometheus.
Prometheus. Thank you.
I've got fire, but I don't need fire because it's perfectly light out here. Tap anywhere to close the menu. Okay, goodbye. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I think I need to fly off the cliff here.
Don't we all?
Okay, you get the idea. Is there enough? Have we had enough?
We've had enough.
Press and hold anywhere to consume energy and rise. Oh, there
I kind of want the person who designed this game to watch this episode of iOS today and go, oh dear, we need to do a better job.
I made it. I'm up at the, whoa. Okay, this is what Journey was like. A lot of skating around sand. Okay, your turn. What do you got?
Oh, let's see what's next. Song of Bloom, or is it Song of Doom? No, it's
Bloom. What? I don't know this one.
Song of Bloom is it's described as an intense tale about everything packed into a short, handcrafted experience. So this is what's kind of fun about this game is that you are, and I'm trying to pull it up on my phone here because I see it's not meant to be played on iPad. Because it's one of those pesky games.
That's no fun.
Yeah, so I'm downloading it now for the iPad, or for the iPhone.
I think in the interest
art styles.
Oh, okay. So you is it for photos?
No, so it's a puzzle game. But what's fun is that as you go along in the game, it's switching between different
there's an iPad
arts.
version.
It's just whenever I launched it. Oh, well, maybe not. Okay, no, it is. Yeah, it's not that it's not for iPad. It's that it's in portrait mode.
Portrait mode, which we don't.
Yeah, which is kind of annoying. So here is the game loading now.
Okay.
So quickly, I'll show you some of the puzzles. But yeah, I guess the cool thing about this is that it jumps between different kinds of art styles as you're trying to figure out the different puzzles. So we'll start here.
There's one thing that's, I think, pretty neat. This is not from a company. It's by one guy named Philip Stollenmeyer. He's done a number of really fun games, including, I think some we've shown, Pancake, the game, Bacon, the game, Burger, the game, and OK. I love it that Apple celebrates the independent single developer because that's one of the things that you look at iPhone and you think, gosh, all this super professional stuff, how could I possibly compete? And I think you can. If you've got a beautiful idea, you can do this. And obviously Stollenmeyer knows what he's doing because he's got not only Pancake, Bacon, and Burger, but he's got his newest and an Apple Design Award winner, which is pretty cool. Well, that's cool. That's neat. Now, we can't hear the sound, unfortunately, because the eCam software used doesn't allow that. But
I'm trying to figure out. See, this is the other thing about the game is that it's very much a puzzle game.
Right. It's one of those games that it's the opposite of all the stuff we've been talking about. Gives you no explanation at all. You just, hey, figure it out. You're smart.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not.
Oh my! And then this is kind of hard to understand.
Some of these I'm less crazy about.
There's a cloud there for downloading, I guess. So I'm supposed to. You have any ideas there, Leo?
Let me just show you the film. How about that?
Yes, well, show me the film.
Yeah, because this is. Let me turn the audio. Sorry, I turned off the audio. Let's do this again.
I was born in a time when we ignored the signs that we were given.
This is not helpful at all, is it?
It's a
Song of Bloom.
song.
Well, he had the pancake mechanics worked out, so he just thought we'd put some more pancakes in. Yeah, I don't. So it's just puzzles, but you have to figure them out as you go.
Mm-hmm.
Very
and if you can't
interesting.
figure them out, then you're stuck.
Yeah, then you're stuck on a mountaintop.
Yeah, and I can't figure out how to get past this first part. I tapped start, but it just shows this screen, and it's not. Oh, that's new. I see the signs. They surround me, reminding me of something familiar. Oh, this is what it was telling me to do before. I react,
draw
try to respond, but all I get are more signs. And yet, the only thing I was looking for is a new beginning. And then it goes to this screen, and I can't go anywhere from here. So let me go back to this, I guess. I'm going to try and draw on that mountain that pops up. Oh, I did it! I got past the first part.
And this is why this game is so popular.
Never figure it out.
Here, let me do it here. What you're doing, you can walk me through it. So we start. This really is very simple. This is it. We start. It doesn't explain anything. But I guess I'm drawing over what it. I don't know. What should I do, Mikah?
Tap down at the bottom.
Ooh, I love that.
I see the signs.
I see the signs.
They surround me,
They surround me.
reminding me.
Now watch what happens.
Familiar.
I get it.
Whenever it says I react, he shows
Try to
draw red
respond. Yeah.
Or more signs.
Yeah, more signs. And yet,
The only thing I was looking for is a new beginning.
all right, let's try again. This time, now we know what to do. Or do we? Should I draw the thing? No, what?
No, so watch. You have to go back to the main screen.
Okay.
So tap in the top left corner.
Yeah.
And then this is going to grow, and it's going to show you how to get through the first level.
Oh, I
so
get
tap
it.
on that and swipe it up to the left.
Make it
And
grow.
it shows when you see that mountain, you need to do a red circle around it.
Got it.
So now you have to tap start again, watch it, and then once it gets to that white circle or white mountain, keep going.
Keep going.
No, tap and again at the bottom.
I see
Now
the signs.
tap it again. You don't even have to do that.
They surround
And
me,
then once more,
reminding
and then once more.
me
Now stop,
of something
stop.
familiar.
Yeah, now draw the circle around it. Oh, there you go. And now you've gotten to the next level. So I have yet to figure out what I'm supposed to do on this level, but I think that I have to wait until the red sun comes to the pyramid. Oh, I did it.
We're letting time pass. So this is quite beautiful.
And I almost like this sort of.
It's very serene.
Don't quite know what to do.
I think this is a very common mechanic in some games, and I kind of like it if you have patience. I don't
see, and that's what this is kind of talking about.
I don't always have patience.
I was born in a time when we ignored the signs that we were given.
Right.
So it's a little bit preachy, but it's kind of showing you, you've got to pay attention and be patient as you try to figure out what you're supposed to do next.
Look what's happening here. I don't know. There's an asterisk. Okay, should I? Ooh, something's happening. Something. Again, we ignored the signs that we were given. Yeah, again. Okay. So, boop. Do I have to start over? Okay.
I think, I don't know what I did a boo-boo.
I did a boo-boo. Okay. So I'm going to make one grow. Okay. So we're going to go here. And go bloop, 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 bloop. Maybe here, bloop, 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 here, bloop, bloop, bloop.
So as I was scrolling through the screen that I'm currently on, there was a little bit of a haptic feedback thing, and it showed these symbols. So what I'm thinking is I need to tap on these symbols whenever they pop up on that little screen that comes up. So I'm going to mark down those symbols.
What should I do with this stick?
That seems to be a thing that gives you hints about what you're supposed to do.
I see the signs.
I'll have to go through this whole thing again.
Yeah. So now...
New beginning. So this is a hint?
I think so. Again, I don't know for sure. I don't know. I'm going to try and tap on the ones that were... But I can't quite see them. That's the problem.
Okay. We're done. We're done here.
Yeah. It's very confusing.
Finally, and this is another one from Apple Arcade, and one we've shown. I think we even made this an app cap. I think it was your app cap. When Cards Fall.
I was born in a time when we ignored the signs that were given. Yeah.
He's still solving the world's climate crisis. Meanwhile, I've moved on.
Tell me about Where Cards Fall.
When Cards Fall.
When?
Where?
No.
When? Where? WCF.
Who Cards Fall?
WCF. That's the... so this is another Apple Arcade game, so you already own it if you have an Apple Arcade subscription. That's one of the advantages of all of this. Welcome back. That's me, Chief Twit, the game band. This is a really... We showed this in some of our arcade pieces. This is a really interesting game. And really, I think it was one of the original Apple Arcade games, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Another one, No Explanation, kind of like that. I prefer that to Exposition City.
Yes.
But look, here's him looking at something on a table. That's me. My phone rings. I pick it up. Mm-hmm. I talk.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That's done.
Now I'm in a sim-like world, looking top down, trying to figure out what I can do, right? I guess I have to go to this door. So here he is. Now, for those of you listening on audio, this just sounds really boring. And trust me, it is.
You are getting the right idea.
Marginally more interesting if you have pictures. Oh, looks like I got to leap over here. Whoop, whoop, keep up, boop, beep, boo. Oh, there's some things there. I don't know if they help me. Maybe I could tap the question mark. Spread out the cards with 2 fingers. I don't know. I have to make that sound.
That's the only way you can get through it.
Kind of tells you where you're supposed to go. Down here? Okay, so we're doing a lot of climbing around. Oh, there's some cards. Here we go.
Oh, some cards.
Now we spread these out. Okay. Ah. I can walk over that. Clever. Am I supposed to lift it up? I don't remember the point of this. Do you? We're just wandering around?
Sort of just wandering around, it seems.
There's some cards there. Let's open those up, see what it can do. Maybe I have to get up here first. Pinch a house of cards to collapse it. Oh, clever. Move it over here. So the mechanic... Okay, so this is... I'm wandering around. Oh, no. Got to get on it first. Get on it, kiddo. This is your elevator to the stars. Move it over here. Now watch this. Whoops. Get on it. Oh. Okay, let's go up here first. I get it. I was just supposed to do that. Okay. So we're wandering around, and these cards appear, and you can build houses of cards to use as techniques to get around. I think really what's interesting, I'm sure why this won the award, it's pretty. It's not not very compelling, it seems, as a game, but it's pretty, and you didn't pay for it because it's Apple Arcade, right?
Right.
I don't know.
And that
concludes these fascinating games.
I would like to say that I've gotten farther in.
Oh, look, he's made a beautiful
I've made a Banksy
abstract.
that I'm now.
Oh, you're shredding your Banksy.
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah. And unfortunately, that's not how you get to the next level. So.
Oh, you shredded your painting for no good reason.
But at least I got that far.
So this looks like kind of fun. I like puzzles. Yeah.
Yeah. You got to figure out the right steps to take. And if you do the wrong thing at the wrong time, then it takes you back and that kind of thing. So, I kind of like Song of Bloom. It's $1.99 in the App Store. And then we just saw Where Cards Fall, which is part of Apple Arcade subscription.
Right. Very nice. Let's take a break. This is one topic that, it's embarrassing. People don't want to talk about it, right? Mm-hmm. Even with a doctor, they don't want to talk about it. Roman was founded. It's basically a digital health clinic for men. They realized, as everybody knows, any guy realizes, that guys don't like to go to the doctor. We're trained really to stuff it, right? Don't cry. No crying in baseball. Rub dirt on it. Walk it off. Don't go to the doctor. So anytime my significant other says you should go to the doctor, I go, no, I'm fine. I'm fine. Well, there are times when you maybe should get some help, and that's what Roman's all about. And you know what? It couldn't be a better time, since we're all, a little nervous, frankly, about going to any medical facility unless we have to. Now you can do it from your own home. A digital health clinic for men. Anyone who's dealt with, for instance, erectile dysfunction knows how, squirmy it is to talk about it in person, even with a physician. But wouldn't it be nice if you could do it without leaving the house? Telemedicine, that's what they call it. There's a simple, convenient solution to get the treatment you need without the discomfort, without the awkwardness, and without ever leaving your house. Roman is here at a perfect time. A digital health clinic for men. You can get discreet professional care, not just ED, a variety of men's needs. You get genuine prescription medication if your physician says you need it. Over-the-counter treatments are also available, all delivered in unmarked packaging, so your mailman's not going to go, what's going on here? Roman helps you with, as we mentioned, ED, sexual health of all kinds, hair and skin, daily health. They have over-the-counter vitamin supplements for a variety of things. Prostate health, big in men my age, very important. Testosterone, also good for men my age, but a lot of things like that. Roman makes it convenient to get the treatment you need right from your house. So here's how it's going to work. Get roman.com/iOS today, and then you complete a free online visit. You'll answer some questions, say why you're there, and you'll hear back from a U.S. licensed physician within 24 hours. That's when the telemedicine comes in, and you talk to the physician. He'll ask you, or she'll ask you appropriate questions. You can explain what your needs are in a very kind of non-judgmental, really nice environment. It's really, I have to say, it's extremely pleasant. If the doctor decides, we got some treatment for you. You're going to need some medication, or you're going to need something. It'll be shipped right to your door, free 2-day shipping. You also get, and I love this, not only do you get that free online visit, but you get free unlimited follow-ups with your doctor anytime you have questions or want to adjust your treatment plan. And you're never locked in. You can cancel anytime. Although I think it's really nice to get the prescription and then get automatic refills is a really nice feature of this. Roman, stop rubbing dirt in it, guys. Roman can be a source of your wellness. If you're struggling with ED, there's no reason. There's really no reason. No shame, but no reason to suffer either. Stay home. Go to getroman.com/iOS today. Get your free online visit and free 2-day shipping. I feel really good about it. GetRoman.com/iOS today. Get Roman. GetRoman.com/iOS today. Now it's time for our News of the week, Mikey.
Yeah. So up first, iOS 14, as folks have been using it and getting to know it a little bit more. That's the next version of iOS, which will become a public beta soon. So
I'm not going to do it till then, but I feel like it's pretty stable, right?
Yeah. The original issue that I had with my iPad was one of the problems that I had. But other than that, in terms of, it used to be you'd install a beta and your phone would constantly restart every time. You'd be doing something and then your phone would just randomly restart. I've not been having any of those issues with this beta, so it's been pretty good. So there's going to be a public beta out soon, which means that it's worthwhile talking about these features, I feel. And one of the new changes comes to iCloud Keychain. So if you don't know what that is, it is Apple's way of storing your credentials in a secure location so that you can access different sites without having to remember your passwords for each of those. It's essentially a password manager, but it also stores some other stuff in it as well. A new feature that's coming is the ability to be warned when a password may have been leaked, when your credentials may have been leaked somewhere. So there are many ways that your password information or your email or those kinds of things can show up on the deep web, can show up in paste bins, can show up all over the internet. And you'll want to know when that happens so that you can know to change your password. And now iOS can warn you and say, hey, you definitely should change this password. And if you tap this button, it'll take you right to the place where you need to go on the site to change that password, which is really handy.
That's exciting. There's a lot of things we're learning now from iOS 14, including a lot of privacy violations. Some companies are saying, well, it's a bug, not intentional. But we're learning so much, and I think it's really great. The privacy features alone make me really want to do this, make me want to install it. Have you noticed, for instance, a number of applications, stealing your keystrokes? Pasting it? Yeah. So this is an interesting thing. Some apps, so one example of this, the Deliveries app, which I 100% love. I use it on my Mac. I use it on my iPhone. I use it on my iPad. It's everywhere. And the Deliveries app is an application that takes in tracking numbers from different delivery services. It takes in Amazon order numbers, Apple order numbers, and it keeps you up to date on where those products are in terms of being delivered to you. So I use that application to keep track of UPS, FedEx, USPS, et cetera, and my Amazon orders. And it will, when you open the app, look at your clipboard in order to determine if you have a tracking number on your clipboard so that it can say, hey, I see you've got a UPS tracking number on your clipboard. Want me to go ahead and add it to this list of tracking numbers that you are currently tracking. A very helpful feature, but something that you may not think about front of mind is the fact that the app is looking at your clipboard every time you launch the app. Well, for that app, it makes sense. But what about an app like TikTok? Does TikTok need to be checking my clipboard every time I launch the app? I don't think it does, but yet Jeremy Burge was tweeting. He's the chief emoji officer, as he calls himself, of Emojipedia. I think he's been on this show before. He's definitely been on some other Twitch shows. And he noticed that as he was on TikTok, about every 1 to 3 keystrokes, he would get a notification from iOS 14 saying, hey, TikTok is looking at your clipboard right now. It's checking your clipboard for what you have on it. And that is problematic because there are times where you have passwords saved to your clipboard that then TikTok may be looking at. There are some other applications that are doing it as well. And so, yeah, as you mentioned, different the Reddit app, for example, is also one of the apps that's doing that. LinkedIn they said, oh, that's a bug. We didn't mean to do that. And it may be, TikTok, I would believe that they are trying to see everything you're doing. Yes. LinkedIn, I don't. So it may well be that, and we don't know yet, but it may well be there's something in iOS in the coding that makes that mistake easy because dozens of apps.
A lot of apps, are having this issue.
Yeah. So I want to give people the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's kind of where I am. I already am not really a TikTok user, but I think knowing that information is helpful.
Yeah.
One of the things that folks are going to notice whenever they start downloading iOS 14, if they decide to use the public beta or again later this year, is that every app is going to prompt you would you like to give this app access to devices on your local network? So some apps, obviously, there's a reason for them to have that information. One example of this is an app called, for me, is an app called MyCloud, and it is the app version of the network attached storage that I use. And so it obviously does need to be able to look at my local network so that it can find the network attached storage and let me access that, NAS, whatever, from the app. But does Twitter need to know what is on my local area network and be able to attach to those or be able to access those things? No. Does Philips Hue? Yes, because it's got the Philips Hue bridge that it's trying to connect with so that it can connect to the different bulbs in my house. So you're going to notice prompts for that every time you open up an app that you have yet to open before. And so you can start to say no to all these things. And that just means that those apps aren't going to be able to use that functionality in the future should they ever decide to take advantage of the fact that up to this point, it was not a yes or no kind of thing. So Apple is continuing to lock down on these different ways that apps might try to not only get access to different things, but use that stuff to create a fingerprint and try to identify who you are. That's the big thing here, is that if a website can see what fonts you have installed on your specific machine, and then can figure out what devices you have on your local area network, and can figure out what version of Mac OS you're running, and start to take all of those things and put them together. Enough of those data points creates an ID of a very specific person. And so even though you may have blockers in place and tracking stuff in place to keep these sites from tracking you, if it can still pull enough of that information together, it can create a profile that says, okay, we know this is Mikah because he's the only one that has both the Gotham font installed and I Hate Comic Sans font installed or something like that. All of those together can create this profile to figure out who you are and then use that information to track you. And that's also why in the next version of iOS and macOS, there are several new plugins for the browser, HTML. I think it's HTML plugins. I can't remember exactly where they exist in that space, but Apple's not going to support them, including the one that lets your browser look for the localized font on your computer because they're worried about device fingerprinting. So it's really locking down quite a bit, and that they're not supporting those in that way because of it. Good. I can't wait. So the beta is sometime in July. We don't know exactly when they're going to do it, but I'm looking forward to putting on the public beta. But I'll listen to you, and if you say, no, it's not ready yet, I won't do it. But you... So one of the things, this is interesting. This is the first time that Apple is making the watchOS beta available to the public. And beta 2 is out for that as well as all the others, right? Yeah. Wait, beta 2's out? Yeah. Did that happen today or yesterday? Yeah, quick. Oh my God. I got to download those at some point. So yeah, that was news to me. I thought that sounds like we're getting closer to the public beta. Public beta's got to be right around the corner. Yeah. This is my PSA. If those of you watching this show, something you need to understand. If you download and choose to install the beta on your watch, you need to be very careful. Be it on your head. Yes. So all of your other devices, your iPhone, your iPad, your TV, those devices, your Mac, all have ports that you can use to make changes to those devices should they get into an issue where you can't access the device. My iPad, when I installed the beta, was one of these. It was an example of this. I bricked it somehow. Ooh. And because I had my, I should say I partially bricked it, because a true brick means that it's done unless I send it in. I was able to plug it into my Mac and install and restore and do all the stuff that I needed to do. You had to do the DFU, the device firmware update, though. So that is as close to bricking it as you can get. Exactly. If that doesn't work, you're dead. Then you're dead. Yeah, you got to send it in. And so here's the deal. I've got these devices that can be fixed this way, but your Apple Watch, because of the way that it is made and the fact that it needs to be able to connect wirelessly, there's nothing you can do. Yeah. So just be aware of that. If you try to install the beta and you run into an issue, you're going to have to send it into Apple. That's the only way. I'm relying on my reasonably. Watch. Yeah. So I will say this, though. I have absolutely enjoyed. Matthew Castanelli and I talked about this a little bit yesterday on Smart Tech Today. We're really loving the hand washing feature on the Apple Watch.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it's I've had a few false positives, which can be kind of annoying. But outside of the false positives, that little notification to say, hey, I can tell you're washing your hands right now, and here's how much time you have
so
left.
Awesome. So
it's
awesome.
really cool. Yeah. And it makes me feel good, too. It keeps track of that information in the health app on your iPhone. So you can go in and see your average, hand washing time. And it's a delightful little experience that I found to be really encouraging to keep you, washing your hands. So, yeah, I like it. I dig it.
In the interest of time, let's move on to the
yes. Sorry.
questions.
Oh, to our feedback? Okay, cool. Yeah. The first one comes from Jeremy from Albuquerque.
And
Jeremy
it's about
says,
the watch, which is nice.
Yeah. Will the watch face change automatically when arriving somewhere? When I get home, will it change to my home face? Or when I go to the gym, will it change to my workout face? Or go to a trailhead, will it change to my hiking face? Jeremy, this is not a feature that happens automatically. But by
That's
golly,
an interesting feature. Yeah.
It's a very smart feature.
Complications will adjust. Obviously, the time will adjust, but the whole face won't.
The whole face won't. I wouldn't be surprised, though, given the way that the app that in this next version of watchOS has been set up, where now you can share faces. It gives developers and Apple itself a little bit more of an understanding of what your current watch face is.
Cool.
And so I wouldn't be surprised if Shortcuts eventually has this feature built into it. I think it's a really good idea, though, Jeremy.
Yeah, I love that idea.
And then Randy from Florida says, with the iPad becoming more like a computer, and for some their only computer, what is the best way to back up your data? Is it sufficient to rely only upon the cloud, or should you have another physical backup? I'm curious what you have to say, Leo, and then I'll share my thoughts based on that.
I think it's more than sufficient to back up to the cloud because, after all, the cloud is itself backed up. But I have to say, I generally, with all my iDevices, will hook them up to the Mac. If you have a Mac, not a bad idea to do the cable connection. You have to go jump through some hoops. Do you trust this? Yes, I trust this. Unlock the screen. Okay. But once you've got them all hooked up, then using the backup to disk feature, especially make sure you click the encrypted button so that it backs up your passwords and other private data, I think is a great thing to have. So as always with backup, it's nice to have a physical local backup as well as a cloud backup. And Apple does give you that opportunity. You can use both. And just for safety, belt and suspenders, I do always back up locally. There's another reason to back up locally. It's the fastest way to restore. So if you do get a new phone or you run into an issue and you want to restore, you can restore much more quickly from a local backup. So that's another reason to do it. I think also with local backups, and you maybe know better than I, it seems more is saved with the local backup than is saved on the cloud.
That is 100% true. Okay. So when you do a local backup, when you do a cloud backup, it saves kind of the containers and snapshot of how your system is set up. And at the point of restore or install of that backup, then it starts to download those things again. So it's saving kind of a picture of what your backup is, whereas a local encrypted backup literally pulls all of the data off of your device and stores it in that package.
Right.
So it is directly installed. You don't have to wait then later for the apps to download. The one thing that I want to mention to add to that, because I agree with everything that Leo has said, there is a fantastic app called iMazing. iMazing.com is where you can go. It's available for Windows and Mac. And it is an application that does local encrypted backups, but it lets you, one of the problems that I've run into is that my MacBook Pro's drive, its storage is not big enough for my huge iPhone in terms of storage space and my iPad in terms of storage space. And so iMazing makes it very simple to install it on an external drive, or do the backups on an external drive or a different place. So I have it on my network attached storage, and then it'll also allow you to do Wi-Fi backups of those.
Very
and
clever.
Keep snapshots of it. So iMazing. I'll include a link in the show notes, and it is $45 for a license to have that. And then if you want it available for Mac and PC, it's $50. So yeah, that's iMazing 2, I guess, is the current version of it, and that's what I use to keep all of my devices backed up.
Yeah, the short answer, which we should have really given, is there are disadvantages both to cloud and local backup. Disadvantages that each solves. So it's good to do both. You know, you don't want to trust everything to Apple. What if they went out of business? Not going to happen. Or they killed your account? Not going to happen. But, you know, it's nice to have two of anything. And so that's a good idea.
If you're in a place with horrible download speeds or something like that, to have that local backup is good.
I always do local and cloud.
Very good.
And I can't wait to do this iMazing. I think now that Apple has kind of moved all this out of iTunes, and I think iMazing might be the right way to go on this. So I'm going to buy that.
Yeah, because it is kind of tough with it being in the Finder, and sometimes it doesn't connect and those kinds of issues. So thank you, Jeremy and Randy. We appreciate those questions, and let's move on to our app caps.
Time to put on a fancy hat, signifying the time to put on a fancy hat, aka app cap time. I'm wearing a hat that signifies summer is here. A ring-a-ding-ding. It's my Frank Sinatra hat. You're putting on a hat that signifies Thanksgiving is here. I think you're a little confused.
I did it my way. No, I'm doing it my way, so I'm also Frankie.
Yeah, you're very my way. Eyes. He's got a turkey on his head.
There is a turkey on my head, Mr. Sinatra.
And I've got one of those snap brim little straw fedoras and a baby blue with a rainbow band. It's a very this would not be out of place in Miami Beach.
True. Yeah. Where everybody is half a centimeter away from one another.
Yeah. I'll wear this with my mask and my face shield.
There you go.
So then I'll look like I don't know what, like Frank Sinatra from the future.
Yes, Frank Sinatra, the time traveler.
Time traveling Sinatra.
I saw a great or really interesting post on Twitter. Russell Hawley, who has been on Tech News Weekly, one of the shows that I do. Yeah. And sorry, there was dust. He saw in Maryland a shop now where you can get custom face shields made. Nice. They're making them for kids and adults. And there's one where it had cat whiskers. So the kids can sort of
that's cute.
Yeah,
I just bought a $5 face shield, or maybe it was $7 face shield from Amazon. You know, these things couldn't be simpler. It's just a piece of plastic with a little foam for your forehead, a little rubber band on the back, and if you wanted to draw cat whiskers on it, a Sharpie should do the job.
One of those little curly mustaches.
I don't wear this obviously walking around the studio or. Actually, I do, but that's because I'm me. But if I were going into a situation where I couldn't socially distance, I think the mask and the face shield just gives me a little. It also makes people stay away from me.
It does. That's what I was going to say. More than anything, it does seem to like, okay, I'll get away from them.
He's a weirdo.
Yeah.
No, I think it's maybe overkill. Certainly, we know the mask makes the biggest difference, but and a homemade mask, of course. I don't wear the disposable plastic masks. I like my own homemade masks. Plenty of them online now at Etsy. Lisa's got a bunch from Etsy that are cute.
Yeah. Wear your masks, people.
I think it's going to be a fashion statement. Look at this. This is I made this myself. I'm using bohemian yarn for the string.
I love that
so it's
yarn.
Pretty, yeah. This is a batik quilting fabric. On the back, I'm using silk charmeuse because that has a static cling, which helps with capturing particles. And it's a comfy mask. And the other thing, I know this sounds weird, but I iron my masks before I wear them because not only does it give them a nice, shape. There's nothing. It's kind of like getting in bed with nice fresh iron sheets. Nothing nicer.
If I ordered some fabric and had it sent to you,
make you
would
something.
Make me a mask?
Absolutely.
Because I'm thinking it'd be so fun to have a Chihuahua mask.
Absolutely.
One with Chihuahua dogs on it. All right.
You're a better sewer than I am.
I know, but you've already got the pattern figured out. You got the style and all that.
You like my style?
That mask there is my favorite mask.
It's pretty practical.
Design.
Yeah.
Yes. Because I could just hang it around my neck.
Exactly.
I just a quick little thing. My partner lost a loved one last week to COVID-19. And I feel that we here at Twit and us independently and our families are taking things seriously anyway. But I think that really drives the point home that it's you are an awesome person. I'm talking to everybody out there for wearing a mask because you're a hero. You are protecting other people from getting this. And you also are protecting yourself, but you really are protecting other people when you do this. And so be a hero and wear a mask. And I just have to tell you, it's an incredibly heartbreaking thing to not be able to be there physically with your loved one.
That's what they say.
Because of this. Oh. And so you don't want to be in this situation, and you don't want to put anyone else in that situation.
No.
So be a hero and wear a mask.
Yeah. And honestly, I'm not kidding. Iron it before you wear it.
Yeah.
It's really great. I love it. And then I don't know. I'm going the extra mile here. I'm going to draw cat whiskers on this though.
You should. Or some Groucho Marx eyebrows or something.
Well, that's a great idea. Okay, deal. Anyway, let's do your app cap. Yeah.
My app cap. So here's an issue that I've run into before. I go and I take a photo of my dogs probably, or some really cool thing I see out in the world. And I'm like, yes, this is going to be an excellent wallpaper. And I go to make that thing my wallpaper and on my lock screen. And then the perfect part of the photo is dadgum blocked out by the time on the lock screen, or it's in a not a great place where the apps look weird in the background, something like that.
Yeah.
What do I do about this? Well, there's an app for that, folks.
Oh my gosh.
This app is called Lockni, and Lockni shows you a preview of how your photo will look.
Oh, brilliant. With all the controls on it. Yeah.
I can do this, or if I tap the home button, it'll show what it would look like on my home screen. So see, it switches between home screen and lock screen. I can perfectly then place the photo how I want it. Of course, I can rotate it so that, I could do something out in my world. So I could do the iPad in this case.
I have this problem on my lock screen because I didn't plan for, Lisa's going off the edge of the screen. I like her on the edge, but I like to move her in a little bit. So you can edit the photo, too, to make it fit a little bit better.
Yes, and if you tap, one of the features in iOS that's been around, I think since iOS 7, is the slight parallax effect.
Yeah, I love that.
If you tap that little button that shows sort of arrows coming out from an iPhone screen, that will make it so that the photo is sized for parallax. So it's a very simple app. Like I said, it even shows down here where the camera button and the light button are, and then simple settings for reducing haptics or turning off or changing the app icon if you want to. So again, a simple app available for $2.99 in the App Store, but it solves an age-old problem of making wallpapers that fit exactly how you want them to, and then you can just hit that capture the camera button, and there you go. You've got your next lock screen wallpaper.
Aww.
So Lockni in the App Store.
Oh, isn't that great? Lockni.
Yep. Lockne. And
it should be free, right?
No, it's $2.99. It is made by an independent developer.
Yeah, I'll support him.
So
yeah, I'll give him a break. Let me take off my mask so you can hear me. Between the mask and the hat, I got a lot of gear, and the face shield, I got a lot of gear to wear. One of the stories that we were going to do in the news we didn't get around to is that Apple has canceled some arcade games in a strategy shift to keep subscribers. And I saw that article. And they talked a little bit about what they're looking for. This came from Bloomberg. What they're looking for in games, and they mentioned in this piece that Apple was telling developers, you should be more like Grindstone.
Grindstone.
So what did I do? I downloaded Grindstone because I want to know, well, what does that mean? And so it actually is. I could see why Apple wants people to be more like Grindstone, because it's actually a very addictive game. In fact, it's very much in its mechanics like Candy Crush and other games where they have lots of in-app purchases. But in this case, because it's an arcade game, I like it more because there's no push to watch videos or get more
Thank God.
Stuff. I know. So you get all the mechanics without any of the in-app purchases. So that's kind of fun. It's fairly addictive.
What is the illustration? That's hilarious.
I don't know. It's
That muscle man. Oh my gosh.
It's actually pretty funny. It doesn't have anything to do with anything. Basically, you're a samurai and you're climbing up. I don't even know what any of this is. One of the other things I love about Grindstone is, and I think Apple
probably
likes this too, you can tap any cutscene, any interstitial, and move through it. Skip it. So that, as you can tell from our other apps, is something I really want. So I'm going to let you watch this because, it tells you a little bit about the story. He's a samurai who's climbing up a mountain. That's all you really need to know, because it uses Game Center, and I've played it because it's arcade. I can play it on my TV, my laptop, my desktop, my phone, and my iPad. And you can see I play it on a variety of things. So let me see what the last time I played. It was 8:30 p.m. last night. So I'm going to use that one. So you get to choose the save, and the idea is we're this samurai. We're climbing up a mountain, and you can see I've played this quite a bit because I'm quite a way up the mountain. But it didn't cost me anything to play. In between your visits to these caves, you can go to the Howling Wolf Inn. There's 3 levels on the Howling Wolf Inn. There's the tavern, where you can buy some more health if you have enough jewels, but you also get some challenges of things that you might want to do as you proceed, so you can get some extra toys that way. The second level lets you, and this is later in the game, craft different armor.
So that he's not just his bare muscles.
It's funny though. There's the treasure hunter outfit, which lowers the hit points that you require to unlock treasure chests. This is my favorite. The skeleton suit means you don't get attacked by skeletons, which you otherwise do, because they think you're one of them. So I'm going to put on my skeleton suit. They're all kind of comic. There's a gladiator outfit, which increases your chance of dodging. So it's just like the mechanics of a lot of kind of dungeon crawlers. You get various. I love this. This is me sewing masks right here. I just up in the upper right-hand corner. I'm going to choose the old Santa suit. You can get more gifts. There's Cupid cosplay, which gives you a heart every once in a while. But I think the Skelly suit is my favorite if you're in an area with skeletons. And then finally, the armory. You'll find blueprints to create new pieces of armor. There's lots of different armor. Most of it has to be generated by the items you're collecting in the caves. And there's a variety of different, there's swords, shields, arrows, and potions. So you get a variety of those. And then this shows your inventory, and you can see these are the things I've collected, quite a few of them. So once you've visited the Howling Wolf Inn, and you're all girded up for your attack. Now, I might start at a little bit lower level, because actually, frankly, I'm stuck at level 32 right now. It goes on. There's quite a few levels. In fact, one of the other things they've done that I really like, they've been adding levels. So this is a game that keeps on giving. Maybe we'll even someday get here to green. But
I can see how this game could be addicting, yeah.
Well, let me show you the game, the mechanics. We haven't even really done that, but let me go to a fairly low level here. This is level 14. So it's kind of, it's like Bejeweled or Candy Crush, where you're doing some matching. What I do like about it is there's no timer on this. So these are the various creeps of different colors. There's blue, purple, red, and gold. You can only attack matching colored creeps. And you can do it in any order you want. Notice I can plan my attacks. I could try different attacks before I say go. So, this actually is a good one, because I'm going to be able to get a chair. Watch out for these fire-breathing creeps, because they can attack you back after your move. So it's turn-based, which is kind of fun. They're going to get a move. Fortunately, he can't attack me, so I'm safe over here. Now I can do some gold digging, as we say.
Yeah.
And
I'm saying he's a gold digger.
Is that Kanye? Are you quoting a little presidential rap there?
Oh, God, don't even. Don't remind me.
So this is fun. I'm getting wood. No. I mean, I'm collecting wood bundles and that kind of thing. So this is it's a fun game. You can see the mechanics. Eventually, I'm going to get, if I get to 50 creeps, I'll be able to get out. You also want to collect various things. There's crowns and treasure chests and so forth. Once I get to 50 creeps, then I can go out the door. Let me just do that real quickly. This might be a good time, Kevin, for you to speed up the video as we go through. If you kill more than 10 in a row or squish or whatever we're doing to them. Oh, you saw that? Oh, he whipped me. I only have 3 hearts. The third one, I'm going to lose all my jewels and I'm going to be out of town. So let me do this right. I gotta get all these chairs out of the way. I even have, if I go too close to him, he'll attack me. You can see the attack radius of any of the creeps by tapping on them. So his attack radius, if I tap on him, is all of those red squares. So I gotta be very careful as I get closer to him. Now, because I squished more than 10, I've got a little diamond that lets me change colors, which is really handy. Sometimes you'll find that you can get a lot farther by, well, let's see, that's not going to really help me because all I can get there is those reds. Well, maybe I'll do this. That might be good. But I got to be careful. Now, he's going to be able to attack me at this position. Fortunately, I have a shield. So I'm going to turn on that shield, and then you'll see what happens when I get to the top here, and I'm within his attack radius. He's going to whip me. But it doesn't hurt, thank goodness. Now, I'm down to my last heart, so if I didn't have that shield, I would have been out of luck. Still 10 more creeps to go before we can open the magic door. And look, here's another guy. This guy is very tough. In order to get these guys, you see there's a number on them. I have to have killed 10 creeps before I can even attack them. Now, there's a lot of rewards to attacking them, so that's something you might want to try. But let's see. I think I'm safe to do this, and this. Let's do that. It's kind of fun, you know, the animation's cute. This guy's squishing. But really, the game is another one of those, oh, now they're starting to move in on me. I'm a little bit worried here. The game is one of those games where, let's do this. So I'm now going to get to 50, so the door is going to open up. And I can, if I wish, if I don't have any good moves, which I don't really. I'd love to get these bundles of wood. Maybe I can. Let's see. And just dodge around this guy. If I go over here, yeah, that's safe. Nope, it's not. I'm going to get whipped right there. And I can't. If I get whipped, I'll show you. If I get whipped now, I'll die. The smart thing to do would be escape here, but I'll just show you what happens. All that stuff I've collected, this guy's going to attack back. I lose it. I'm dead. I'm a squished samurai. So now it's time to go back to the Howling Wolf Inn, buy a heart. I can only have enough jewels to get 1 heart, unfortunately, so I'm going to be at a disadvantage the next time I wander back into the dungeon. Some of my armor regenerates. It's a fun game. It is. And you know what's great about it is normally this would be full of in-app purchases or ads or ways to extend your play. None of that is here because it's an Apple Arcade game. So you really do have fun playing it because you don't have to do any of that stuff. You just can continue to play. It's totally based on your skill and ability, you know, how good you are. And it's a little bit more strategic than the time-based versions of this because you get a little bit to think about, you know, you can plan, let's see, is that going to work? Well, no. So maybe I'll try this. You get to really kind of think about your strategy. It's not super complex, but you can try different paths, different avenues, and that's kind of fun. So this is a good time waster, but it has the advantage being an Apple Arcade game of eliminating a lot of the negatives of this kind of game. And furthermore, I think they've added enough levels and enough variety that it's quite addictive. And so I didn't buy it. I installed it because I was curious, what is Apple saying to developers that they want them to do? You know, what is so good? And I think what they're really saying is we want the game to be like a traditional kind of compulsive in-app purchase game, but without those mechanics. So that people will come, you know, they even say in the article, Apple wants games to keep subscribers, and that's probably
right, because they've just recently given an extra month of free subscription, so they really are trying to keep people subscribed.
I'm a good example for this because I had actually dropped Arcade and repurchased it just so I could see this game and see what Apple was talking about. Oh, I can start to use this diamond now in an effective way because I can get through it and now get all of these blue guys and get my diamond. Oh, but I'll get whipped there. I don't want to get whipped there. I say whipped because it looks like they pull out a whip and snap it at you, but so it's, you know, it's not a great game in the sense that you go, oh wow, that's a really compelling game mechanics. It's one of those time wasters like Candy Crush that then becomes, I'm really kind of out of luck here. I can't use that diamond, so I'm going to save it for later because
I think it has the perfect amount of ease of understanding with technique required.
Yeah,
so
you do have to.
It feels challenging, but it's not challenging to understand.
It's not going to kill you. Yeah. No, I think it does feel. That's a perfect way to describe it. There's some challenge here, but not enough that you go, oh God, this is too hard. And you know, it's kind of got a clever, cute things. This is called Grindstone. And again, the only reason I was interested in this is what Apple says. It wants more arcade games to be like. Well, what does that mean? Well, I think you can see as we play this game what exactly they're going for in this instance. So I got to get 20. That's hard to get that guy because you have to have 20 guys to go near him. I don't think I can do that. It's nice though if you get more than 10 creeps, you get a jewel. So you want to keep those jewels flowing because they give you a lot more options. And actually, that's when the strategy becomes interesting because you can use the jewels to extend your run. So for instance, here, I can do this. I don't want to get that piece of ice because that green guy is going to be mad at me. Oh, I have a shield, so let's do that. Oh, I can't get him anyway. Let's use the shield. He can be mad at me all he wants. It's not going to affect me. Grindstone. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes this thrilling, gripping, oh so exciting episode of iOS today. Mr. Mikah Sargent. Wild because it's over. No, the wild because you're wearing a turkey and I'm wearing a blue, what do you call this? It's not a fedora.
I don't know.
It's a kind of Panama hat of some kind.
There you go. I like that. Panama hat.
Mikey,
yes.
How could people ask us questions on the show?
If people want to ask us questions on the show, they can send their video, their audio, or their text to iostoday@twit.tv. Please do send those in.
They can. Yes. You can watch us do this show when Leo gets here on a Tuesday, usually between 9 and 9:30. I just made it by 9:30 today. We try to start around 9. That's Pacific time, noon Eastern time, 1700 or 1600 UTC. Please tune in, watch us live at twit.tv/live. You can also listen live, understanding that you're not going to get the benefits of Kevin speeding everything up. You're gonna have to watch it in real time. But sometimes that's fun to do. If you're doing that, you can join us in the chat room, irc.twit.tv. They're also watching live. On-demand versions of the show available at twit.tv/iOS. Best thing to do, and on YouTube, best thing to do would be subscribe, though, in your favorite podcast application. That's the Stitcher or the Slacker or the Overcast or the Pocket Cast or the podcast from Apple or Google, and you know what I'm talking about. You can even ask your Amazon Echo. You can say, Echo, play iOS Today podcast. And in most cases, it'll do something like that. Sometimes not. You never know with Echo. That's the fun of it. Same thing with Siri. Same thing with Google. We will see you next Tuesday for another gripping edition of iOS Today. Thanks, Mikah. We'll see you then.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Goodbye. Hey, folks, I am Mikah Sargent, co-host of Tech News Weekly right here on the Twit Network. Yes, Tech News Weekly is a show we do every week, Jason Howell and myself, where we talk to people who are making and a break in the tech news. That's right, it's journalists, it's inventors, it's app app makers, it's everybody who's bringing the tech news in a given week. It's all the stuff you want to know about in bite-sized chunks in a fantastic package. So be sure to subscribe. It's twit.tv/TNW.